Well, if you're going to take on an alien, you can take a blueprint from Sigourney Weaver here in that picture, because really, single-handedly, once again, you're called upon to defeat the forces of darkness. Question is, in this film, as in the last, the strong female presence who's ultimately victorious. I mean, this has got to be one of the great attractions for you. Was it a built-in factor in the second film? Was it always going to be that way, and was that what attracted you ultimately?
Well, I think what attracted me to this, the second movie, Aliens, is the fact that she's not strong in the beginning. In a way, she's a character out of time, and she's, I think, battle-weary, and she's disillusioned, and she's burned out. And the fact that it's because, really, of a reluctantly and against her better judgment, she's pulled back into a situation where she has to take over again. I could feel her mental exhaustion, in a way. I could feel her forcing herself to do it, and it's really because of this little girl that she does it. But she's not anymore that same kind of rational, go-getter, eager beaver that she was in the first movie. All that is gone. It's really been killed off, you know.
Now, if you were the mother of that 9-year-old girl, or of a 9-year-old daughter, would you take her to see Aliens?
I don't think I would. But
kind of ironic,
it depends on the the little person. For instance, I felt Carrie Henn, who played the little girl, because she came from such a normal family and because she's such a hard-headed little girl, that she could play the part without it affecting her. You know, I think it was a very good thing for her. But in the beginning, I was worried. I thought if she does a really good job, maybe she'll be frightened and maybe she'll have terrible nightmares. Actually, she was very down to earth about all that. She'd say, "Oh, it just looks like a rubber chicken," you know. I mean, she was much less impressed by it all than I was. But I think you have to be. I mean, I am so impressionable. I cannot watch anything scary, or I really, no matter how stupid it is, I get scared for the next 2 or 3 days.
Anything in your youth that you saw on screen that just traumatized you practically?
Well, I remember we went to see The Light in the Forest and like Perry the Flying Squirrel or something, Walt Disney, and they had a coming attraction for The Fly. Or The Tingler, that's what it was.
William
And my parents were horrified because their children came home just sort of catatonic with fear about the coming attraction they'd seen, and they thought, well, they shouldn't show those things if you're sending your kids to a Disney movie.
Well, did you go to any of those? Either on the sly or with their approval?
No, because I'm so easily frightened. I mean, Aliens is probably the one movie I can see without blinking an eye, you know, because I know what's going to happen. But The Exorcist took me years to see it, you know, and Halloween, I can't bear it, you know, anything that might happen, you know. At least Aliens takes place in space, you know.
Even though these pictures are showing women so resourceful and so effective that more than any other kind of motion picture being made today, oddly enough, the role models are there.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. And they're all pretty, I mean, I would say women's roles are getting much more interesting now. I mean, for instance, in Aliens, Vasquez is a great woman's part. You know, she's so tough. She's really the truest soldier, besides perhaps Hicks, that Michael Biehn plays, in the whole group. She's the toughest. And you know, you have Ripley, who's sort of like not gun-oriented, and then you have Vasquez, who really is a heavy hitter.
Although Ripley takes on that giant suit device, how much of that was really an operational device?
Well, there was a man standing inside it, covered by sort of a seat cover, and we choreographed together with Jim our moves, and basically we had some hydraulics, but basically we were doing it. And it took some practice to get used to it. It is a sort of frightening thing because, first of all, I'm like in this iron cage. You know, if it falls over, I'll just be like squashed tuna fish or something. But I like that part of it because by that time, in the story, I had become a warrior. I had nothing left to lose. Exactly, and I liked having everything just disappear except that sort of samurai idea.
You must have had a lot of gags thrown at you about, Sigourney, aren't you tall enough already, or something like that?
Actually, I wasn't, but I would make a lot of jokes about myself being Rambo-Lena with all these guns, which I really detest guns, and I thought, how am I in this movie? You know, and I sort of read the script without even noticing the guns. Because it doesn't glorify them, except it does. It says you shouldn't depend on guns, and at the same time, aren't they beautiful? You know. So,
just for the record now, the name Sigourney is so unusual, but maybe we have a recollection of it from a book we've read, huh?
yes, I took it from The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, and I must say it's sort of an eccentric thing to do, but I do think it's a pretty name, and I was looking for a longer name because I was so tall. I thought I needed like...
What is your reaction generally to a lot of the press hype that you've been getting for the last year or so about one of the new Glamour women, one of the truly effective actresses?
Oh, really?
Do you look at that with some astonishment? Are you pleased secretly?
Oh, I'm pleased. I mean, I think I am perhaps glamorous today, but that's because we've all been working on it for... I mean, I wear very little makeup, and I never wear any jewelry. And
did somebody shear off your hair with scissors?
Yeah, they wanted me to wear the wig through the whole thing, and I said, you know, you don't understand how I can fly around with all these guns and this baby in my arms with a wig that'll be coming off mid-shot. So it was my idea to cut my hair, and I think it works much better. I think she should look physically different. It is as if sort of some of her strength is cut off, you know, like Samson.
Now, even though this is coming from the woman who does not like to go see horror pictures, for those who do, is this film going to scare them?
Well, I think it's pretty scary, and I think it's pretty funny. I enjoyed hearing the audience the other night sort of get involved and call up to the screen, and, you know, apparently when Newt says, "I'm scared," and I say, "Me too," one guy said, "Yeah, me too." You know, I mean, I think that's terrific. It's very you really participate in this movie. You know, it's very visceral.
And the chief participant, the demolisher of the aliens,
yes.
Sigourney Weaver, and from New York City. For KCTV5, I'm John Tibbetts.